He liked both of them, and he called me Mr. Khan and said, Mr. Khan, you can call me whatever you want. So, all right. I think you're fantastic. I don't think you're perfect. I'm not perfect either. That's the wrong one. I'm here. The spiel. My name is Mike. I'm a professional speaker turned author. I've done over 1,300 paid speaking engagements, almost 600 in businesses, 912 times, which I know you're doing math like, wait, that seems like more than 1,300. Yeah, sometimes I do it for free. 910 times I've been invited into a public school like this since 2016. So you guys were in 5th grade. When I did my first one of these, you were in 5th grade and you were not 4th. The first, and I used to work in the church for 2.5 decades. And when you work at the church, if you've ever been to a church on Wednesday nights, I did all the kids ministry Wednesday night or the youth ministry Wednesday night stuff. So if you work at a church, like you know, like there's pizza, there's probably cookies, and maybe there's some Bible stuff. So what I've done is I've learned how to take this thing that I used to do all the time and not alienate people, not get myself disqualified, and be able to come in and bring some of the stuff that I did there, but now bring it into the public school, because what I believe is the public school is the greatest place to make a difference in every community. Not because it's broken, but because of the difference they're already making. So that's why I'm here. I have a For Middle Schoolers shirt, like it's FORMID, DLE, school, whatever, like I have that shirt that I wore over there the other day, but I didn't feel like that would play really well with you guys, so I opted for the red and white check, because when I went to school at Marlow, we played against Davis in football, which was less than 1 million years ago, but quite a few. Open up your book to chapter 4, and here's why. I believe this is the most powerful 3-letter word in the English language, next to God. But it's one that most people are forfeiting, because it's so much easier to be known by what you're against than to be known by who you're for. Like, there was a song that maybe your parents heard before, but it encapsulates what our society is. It's so easy to put your fist in the air and go, "We're not gonna take it." You know, like we're just, you can't take my rights. You can't make me pray. You can't make me not. You can't tell me what to wear. You can't tell me. You can't censor me if I want to say the S word. I can say it or whatever. We're so quick when people say, "Well, this is the rules, or this is what we're supposed to do." We're so quick to say, "You can't do that for me." And your eyebrows finger in your face. You can't. I don't have to take that. Freedom of speech. Do what I want. Easy. This word is a word that will change it every. I wish that I would have known the power of this word when I was sitting in your spot. I didn't. In fact, I didn't even really know it until I bought this book. It's called, you know what you're for? I paid $20 for this book 4 years ago, as soon as it came out. Because the whole hook of the book was, this guy was a pastor of a church, and they were planting a church in Gwinnett County, Georgia. And instead of saying, "Gwinnett County Church coming soon" on the billboard, they just put hashtag for Gwinnett. And people were like, "What is that hashtag for Gwinnett for?" And so they got all the people around and said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do." Whenever people, they got shirts, about 3 or 4 weeks after that, they got shirts. All the people rallied up, and they got shirts that matched the billboard. And here's what they said. Whenever people say, "What is hashtag for Gwinnett for?" This is what you say. "We believe the church has been known for too long by what it's against. We believe the church should be known by who we're for. That's the kind of church we're going to be, and we're for you." Period. Don't tell us, "Well, I trusted Jesus." Don't tell us about your experience. Don't tell us what you love about the church, what you don't love about the church. By the way, this isn't a church talk. This is a community thing. Don't tell them that. This is the problem. The church has been known by what it's against, not who it's for. And we're going to be a church who's known by being for people. I'm like, that is crazy. I heard him on a podcast. I'm like, I'm buying the book. I bought the book, got it, read it, audiobook. There's a kit, a 4 starter kit. I bought the starter kit. Like there, Jeff Henderson has not printed any materials around this idea of 4 that I haven't purchased. And whenever he says, we're going to open up a 4 coaching situation, a 4 coaching program, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to be one of those certified guides. And yet, if Jeff were standing here today, I would say, Jeff, it's a great book. He's following me. Jeff, it's a great book. I take a little different idea from the book 4, because he says this is about know what you're for. I think that's a really good question for leaders. Who are you for? What are you for? But I think it's a miss. It's a close miss. Because who are you for? It's all about my intent and my wishes. But a better question is, who knows that you're for them? Because that changes everything. Not I tell you that I'm for you. If I'm sitting in my house and I'm like, what is this day? Is this Tuesday? I'm sitting in my house on a regular Tuesday, because sometimes I work from home. Or I'm sitting in one of the offices that I got, because sometimes I work from an office. I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. What else am I going to talk about? Oh, Tyler Tuesday, because I got a dude named Tyler on our team. But I said, oh, no, I am for you. You guys in Davis, I'm for you. My house, doing my regular thing. You might believe me, you might not believe me. Hey, Miss Finnerty, I know you're a middle school principal, but can you get him to the high school principal, Tyler, I don't know his last name. Can you get him to Tyler, then he could disperse them to the nice lady who's sick today, who teaches this class normally. Can you get it from 1 to 2 can you get it to them, and then them say, hey, there's a guy in Duncan who wrote a book, and he's for you. I mean, yeah, maybe. But does it matter more that I didn't wear my 4 middle schoolers t-shirt in here? Maybe not. But I'm betting that my presence and my conversation with you matters more than me just sending a book to you. So, who are you for? Here it is. By the way, leadership, it's always a great idea to get a bottle of water wherever you're going. Take off the label so that people who drink the other kind of water aren't immediately offended. Also, no one takes off the label, so I know I'm the only one who has this water bottle. Nobody has that. And when someone brings you a water bottle with a different cap, whenever you take the lid off, the label off, you still know that it's yours. Like whatever. But the reason why I brought this is because I'm asking you a question, and then instead of writing on the board WFA, wait for answer, I just take a drink of water. Also, it helps me stay hydrated. So, my question to all of you. Who are you for? I have 2 bottles of water, so take your time.
Everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Just want us to verbally answer? Okay, just
What? One more time?
so you guys like actually like say something? Okay.
Yeah, who are you for?
This is a really tough question. Just like the community.
The community.
People around us.
Okay, great. Jet, who are you for?
A little bit of myself and then other people as well.
Honestly, I like that. Thank you. I don't mean, Lexi, that you are being honest. Listen, honest, I went 50-50 there, because I know one of you is named Lexi, but I can't remember which one. I think it was you. Okay. And you don't always have to tell them what your name. I don't mean that he was more honest because he said some for myself and you said for everyone. That's not what I mean. Who are you for? Okay, think about it. We'll come back. Elementary students, right? You like going to elementary school? Okay. Question for all of you. You ever waved back at someone who didn't wave at you in the first place? How do you feel? Pretty great. 2 thumbs up. That happened to me. Do you guys do beautiful day here?
Yes.
Okay, Leah Leah started Beautiful Day. Leah and Michelle, Leah and Michelle started Beautiful Day. Leah she's a neighbor, kind of. Her house is different than mine, but she's a neighbor of ours, like big fans of theirs. One day, I'm telling Leah that I told this story. You ever wave back at someone who didn't wave at you in the first place? And she goes, yeah. And I started doing this. She's like, yeah, I know just what you mean. I said, no. We were in the same restaurant, you and me, and you were with someone else. And I started waving back. And you weren't waving at me. You were waving at somebody else. She's like, oh my gosh, that was me? I did that? I said, yeah, you did that to me. No, it was not me. But it was just kind of a funny thing. But the reason why I asked that question is because we all universally feel the same small when you wave back at someone who wasn't waving you in the first place, right? So.
You look around and check and make sure no one saw it.
Right. That's right. Oh, I wasn't waving at you. I was just checking what time it is. Like something weird. I have a watch on. You couldn't see it.
It's only
And
in
sorry.
there.
Whoa. So when I started going into schools, I did this. I said, you do this to me, I'll do it back to you. Anytime you do this to me, I'll do it back to you. You come to Dunkin' at Walmart, Brahms, or Rib Crib. You see me anytime you do this to me, I will always do this back to you. And immediately, you know what kids started doing? The whole talk, after I said about 28 minutes in over here, after I said, this is what I used to do to students. And every time you do this to me, I'll always do it back to you. If you ever do this to me and I don't do it back to you, one of two things happen. Either I didn't see you, or...
Hello, Trey Owens.
My
Nice to
time.
meet you.
Nice to
Yes,
meet
sir.
you.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you for talking to all these kiddos.
So far, they haven't had a chance to talk back, but they will.
I don't know if they will or not. They probably will. They're pretty good at that.
I may need some more learning. But.
Okay. I've got endless supply.
Nice to meet you.
Thank
Talk
you.
soon.
All right, thank you.
So as soon as I say this, you know what kids do. Now, you also know why kids do it. I know why I want kids to do it as a speaker, motivational, as Ms. Finnerty said. As a speaker, I know what I say a thing, people do the thing that you ask them to do. But I also know that's not really always why they do the thing. Sometimes they do the thing just maybe to irritate you or to see if you are really a big fat liar or some other reasons that they each have for themselves. So as soon as I said that, these kids over here started going like this the whole time. And I'm talking, I got a microphone in my hand, like, hey, every time you say, okay, yeah. And so keep talking and doing the point, oh, yeah. I keep doing that. It's kind of funny. But here's the truth though. When I was in a class very similar to this, with a couple of sophomores, a lot of juniors, and a couple of seniors, I tell them what I do in elementary schools. This, and every time you see me on my promise recruit, you do this to me, I'll do it back to you. That night, it sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not. That night, about 11:30 at Walmart in Dunkin', there's this nice lady, she's a senior, she was in the conversation. And she has all these things in her hand, walking to the register. And she sees me, and she stops, and she goes, wait. And I only have two things in my hands. And so I waited, and she starts rearranging stuff, and moving the stuff, and armpit, and, whatever, making sure it doesn't fall to the ground, and she goes, she's a senior in high school. And I just did things under my arm, like this, no lie. She has a tear that comes down because just like you, she had a lot going on. And just like you, a lot of times she doesn't feel seen or feel valued. And just like you, when some dude in a red checkered shirt showed up and helped her feel seen, hours later that night, she just responded. She did this to me, I did it back to her, she felt seen and felt valued. That is the power of being for her. I didn't tell her I was for her, I did, because I do. But she knew that I was for her, and she knew that I wasn't a big fat liar. When she did this to me, and I did it back. And one of my favorite things to do when I go to schools, especially in elementary schools, It's Mr. Mike, and it's high energy, and I'm the tap dancer, which is true. And something else that we'll talk about, and then you do this to me, and I'll do it back to you. And they do it, and I do it back to them. I'm like, yes! If I were to partner with Davis Elementary School, the first thing I would say, I'm 40, I think you're fantastic. Hey, you ever wave back at somebody who didn't wave at you in the first place? And they would say, ah, that one kid with glasses would take them off and go, oh! I mean, they all do. Boy, is it weird. They'll do weird stuff. When that calms down, if you say, hey, listen, every time you do this to me, I'll do it back to you. Like if we were partnering together for a long period of time, I would come in and do that. The first time I would be with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and the second time I would bring you with me. And I would say, hey, look, it's my friend Jet. And they'd say, hi, Jet, you're cool. And I'd say, hey, if you see me and my friend Jet at Walmart, Brahms, or Root Crib, or whatever's close, you do this to us, we'll do it back to you. Because kids, it'll help them feel seen. I wonder what it would take for you to believe that I really am for you. I wonder what it would take for juniors and seniors in a town that I don't live in. I wonder what it would take for you to believe that I really am for you. I don't know if chapter 4 will do it. It's not the 4th most important part of the book, but I'm smart enough, if you're going to use the word 4 as a title of a chapter, it needs to be the number, but it's the same name, it's spelled differently. So I want you to know that that's in there. I want you to turn to chapter 11. Because chapter 11, somebody read the time. Not just read the time. 4 high school students. This one is written exactly for you. When I wrote this book, well, according to the New York Times, 81% of Americans want to write a book every year, but only 1% do. 2023 just happens to be the time that I was part of the 1%. And it's pretty freaking cool. Not maybe to you, because you're like, great, another book that I may or may not read. It's not a textbook or whatever. There's no test on that. I wrote it on a 6th grade reading level, not to insult you. This book is for business leaders or people who have jobs or internships. Do any of you work, by the way? Yeah. Good. This book's for you. So I write wide and edit narrow. Not because I'm so smart, but because my mentor, who's a speaker and author, his name's Phil Jones, and he's the dude who wrote this part on the front of the book, which is pretty cool to me. He wrote a book, and he self-published a book and sold over 3 million copies. I'm like, yeah, and what kind of bottle of water do you drink? Because I'll drink that, because that's one of the things that I like to do. He said, you write wide and you edit narrow. You write for everyone, but you edit so specifically people who are reading it feel like it's for them. So I asked people in 26 different industries that I've worked in, that I partner with. I asked them to preview the book. And they did, and they gave me some really good feedback. And the book that you're holding looks different than the first version that I sent to them, which is different than the very first version that I didn't even tell my wife that I had. Anyway, I asked these 26 people, and they didn't all respond. It was actually 42 people across 26 different industries. I asked them, hey, if you were coming with me to a high school class, what would be some of the things that you would say to high school students that you wish, you know now that you wish you would have learned then that would be really helpful? And the second half of chapter 11 is that stuff. The guy who wrote the interviewing technique, when he talked about that, you'll see that in a second. When he talked about that, that dude has literally interviewed thousands of people. And he's for you. He's for students, and he's for you. One of the nice ladies used to be a counselor at the high school, and now she works for a hospital, and she wrote some stuff. I'm not insulting your intelligence by saying, hey, I want you to all read it with me together. We're not going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. It's not going to be weird. you have read a book recently, it's been a long time since you read a book that was written specifically for you. And this book, specifically that chapter, was written for you. So that said, I would like for someone to, what did I say, 11? Chapter 11, I would like for somebody to, it's not, okay, so this is a short book, it's only 23,000 words. Most books are more. That's okay, I wasn't entering a contest. It just says most of the things that I want to say. But, again, I wrote on a 6th grade reading level and put some QR code stuff in it. It's pretty interactive, because I'm not just for you while I'm here in this building with you, for you longer than that. So somebody read that first paragraph.
In addition to the work our business does in business and nonprofits, we also lead sessions in schools as well. As of this writing, my team and I have led 907 sessions in K-12 public schools since 2016. This chapter is written to high school students, for high school students, and can also be adapted by everyone. Here's a clip of a session with a group of high school student council members.
Okay, if you have your phone, just click on that QR code to make sure it works. I mean, it worked on my phone, but I hope that it works on yours as well. Okay, fantastic. That also links you to my YouTube channel for Do Good Leadership Labs. The reason I call them Do Good Leadership Labs is because everybody can do good, but nobody can do the good you do the way you can do it. There you go, you do it, right? Everybody can do good. Oh, repitan, por favor. Everybody can do good. But nobody can do the good you can do.
But nobody can do the good you can do.
The way you can do it.
The way you can do it.
Can you write better than me? Maybe. Who cares? It's not a competition. Can you cheer better? Can you tap dance better than me? Probably. Who cares? It's not a competition. Maybe. I don't know. High school students, here's what I want you to know about. I believe this is true. You have an opportunity to be some of the biggest parts of what's right with your community. And I know that's not what gets most of the press about teenagers these days. Finish this sentence. Kids these days, when you hear someone start off a sentence like that, how do you think they finish it? Kids these days
Don't know what they're doing.
don't know what they're doing. Kids these days.
Put down their phones.
Huh? Never put down their phone. Kids these days
Are soft.
are soft. Kids these days. Huh? Lazy. Kids these days.
Have no work.
No work ethic. Kids these days. Don't overthink.
Are weird.
Are weird. Kids these days. I need 3 more. Kids these days.
Are crazy.
Crazy.
Don't know how to communicate.
That's a good one.
Well, now, no, I'm kidding. They should though, or, I mean, no, they don't know how to communicate, don't know how to talk to people, don't know how to, okay, what else, one more?
Don't know what we went through or something like that.
I don't know what it was like back in the day. We stopped with 10. Is it hard for you to imagine that the same 10 that you said are very similar to the same 10 that other people say in schools all over the place? No. And how many of those were positive? Zero. So, my question for you, on behalf of the community, do you feel like the community is for you, not for you, or when I count to 3, I want you to vote with your thumbs. This, or this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, how many of you are there in here? 2 plus, that's 5 and 8. So, 12.5%, Jet, thank you. 12.5% was this. Everybody else? When I did this with a middle school, I've done it in several places. When I did it with a specific group in middle school, I did it all day and I tracked the numbers. All, whatever, 8 classes, whatever. This, or this. 23% was this. 10% was this, which, mathletes in the room, means 67% was this. This, this is the reason I'm here. Because I think this is mostly a miscommunication. It's just angry resting face. Oh, way to go, get that rebound. What do you do? What? This is the part that concerns me. And here's why it concerns me. I had the opportunity to hear Dr. Bernice King, who she is the daughter of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I got to hear her, and I wrote about it a little bit. I got to hear her in an arena with 7,000 people in the room, and she said, "Hate didn't kill my father, indifference did." Apathy and indifference are very, very similar. I mean, and this isn't where we cue the Demi Lovato song, "Sorry, I'm sorry," right? Like, the reason I do this, thank you. A bit of a Google, a Google and circles. This burdens me. Man. Because then it sounds like what you're saying is it doesn't matter to the people outside of this campus if I'm really here, if I'm really not, or if I'm doing good, or if I'm doing not. Like it might as well matter. Like it might as well. I may not as well not even be here. Sorry, not sorry. It's not my John Cena impression. Like it's not that. It's a different thing. And when I was your age, there was a dude named Dylan Klebold who walked into a school that he went to every day, and he walked in with a shotgun and he shot people, killed them. His mom's name was Susie, and now Susie Klebold is a public speaker. She and I probably would have the same job title, but every time she gets up to do a talk, she has to she opened with an apology. "Hi, my name is Susie Klebold, and I'm sorry," because her son walked into Columbine High School in Colorado. And he made some very permanent decisions about some temporary issues in his life. And I just think one of the reasons I go into middle schools specifically is because I'm convinced, whether it's right or not, it really doesn't matter. I'm convinced that if someone would have gone into Dylan's school when he was in middle school and helped him feel seen and feel valued, let him know that they were for him, I think it's possible, even plausible, that he would have made a different choice. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's very highly probable that it would be true. And so for you, the reason I woke up earlier than my alarm, because my dad, he went to the emergency room last night. He's actually still in the hospital this morning. Still morning? And he's going to lose another toe today. This will be the third toe on the same foot, because he's a type 2 diabetic, and he loves Little Debbie. Which sounds creepy. He's my hero. And it is beyond me how, knowing what he knows about sugar and about the effects that it's had on his body already, how he still wants donut sticks or whatever. But I do know that sugar can be an addiction. And so I'm simultaneously pissed off at him, very upset with him, and feel really sorry for him at the same time. Because it might be that he doesn't have any control over it. But here's what it feels like. It feels like he loves the donut sticks more than he loves my 3 kids. Because I don't know that he wasn't really able, the way he walked in my daughter's wedding this past summer was with me kind of holding him up and with a cane. And I just think that if he knew how for him I was, or some other, I don't know who it would have taken to get through to him back when the doctors told him 20 whatever years ago that this was an issue for him. I can handle it. You ever thought about, not about sugar or whatever, you ever thought that though, like, I can handle it, whatever the deal is, like, you ever needed help, you didn't ask for it? That's my question. Did you ever know that you needed help, but you didn't ask for it? I have for sure. What you need is a guide. And I'm happy to be a guide. Let me ask you a different question. I really just want to like sit and read this whole thing to you, which I'm not gonna. And I also really would rather you read the whole thing to me, which I'm not gonna. But I would like for you to turn to page 121, chapter 41. You've noticed just by thumbing through this or flipping through this, this is not a big book, it's not a large book, it's not a long book, you know, it's only page, whoops, I said 121, there's a typo, I just found it. Chapter 41 is what I want you to get to. Looks like, if you go to page 121, you see the end of it. So go to the beginning of it. 3 ratios that rebooted my communication. 3-to-1, 5-to-1, 7-to-1. What the heck do you think that means? What do you think, there is a question about the subject area. But when something is a 3-to-1 ratio, what is it? Like you gotta have 3 for one, like 3 on one side, and then 1 on the other. It's not tricky, don't overcomplicate it. Whatever you're talking about, whatever you're thinking about, if the ratio is 3-to-1, that means you got 3 bad things, or 3 good things and 1 bad thing. Now we're giving context. We're talking about feedback. Hey Mike, let me give you a little feedback. When you talk to people, don't put your hand in your pocket, it's distracting. Hey Mike, let me give you a little feedback. Whenever you're talking to high school students, don't point. We don't like it. Hey Mike, let me give you a little feedback. And typically when someone says, let me give you a little feedback, do you feel like it's either good, do you feel like it's good or bad? You almost all said it at the same time. A lot of people do. Because we think this. 1 bad thing and 1 good thing is equal. I call the bad things do-betters. I call the good things doing goods. I have a do-good dashboard, which you don't care about, and it's not in the book. Do better, doing good. Most people say, well, you need to do better at this. Does anyone play basketball? You need to do better at rebounding. Let me ask you that. Step back. Has anyone ever said to you, you need to do this better? Of course. Well, sometimes people just don't like to be coached up. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't be coached up. I'm not saying that you're soft or whatever. What I'm saying is, if I only say, hey, angry eyebrows, finger in your face, are you going to block out? Whatever they say. But, oh, nice pass. Is that equal? It's not equal. In fact, block out. Nice pass. Good shot. Way to play defense. Still not equal. This conversation is still negative. To get positive, to get neutral, it's 5-to-1. For every 1 you need to do this thing better, you need to come up with 5. You're doing this really good. It's okay, I'll get it in a second. Does that make sense? 5-to-1 ratio is only neutral. For it to be positive, it's got to be 7-to-1. Now, think about your social media communication. Your comments, you're like, I know there's not a thumbs down on most social media stuff. But you can be negative without being overtly negative. Like slap in the face, like, there's lots of different words for it. But to be positive, for people to know that you're for them, 7-to-1. And you know that's true. Because you know this isn't evil. Regardless of the topic. Hey, I wrote a paper. I mean, you wrote some stuff. But you also used some punctuation. Way to go, look at you.